Grueling Truth's Tuesday Night Pick'em Show. Brought to you by Gridiron Mo, a new interactive football app where you get to call what you think the offense or defense should do during a live NFL game and see what all other fans have called also. Check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. As always, for the Pick'em Show, I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster, and usually I welcome in the guy who came in last place last week, but nobody did because everybody was first or everybody was last, according to how you look at it. All three of us went 8-6. So we'll just start off with Matt Andrew Scavage, since his San Francisco 49ers finally won a game.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. It was good to see.
Well, just tells you how bad the Ravens are this year. Leon, how you doing?
I'm doing great. My Steelers won. I'm happy.
All right, and our special guest picker tonight, I believe you were from Anderson University, correct, John?
Yes, sir.
And right now he plays for the Hudson Valley Fort in the FXFL. Help us welcome to the Grueling Truth Pick'em Show, John Aikman.
John.
Good to have you on tonight, John.
Well,
good to
I appreciate y'all having me.
No problem. Just don't come in last, John. That's all I got to say.
I'll try my best.
Hey, John, as long as Leon and Matt are here, you're good to go, buddy. You won't be last. So we updated, as we said, all three of us went 8-6 last week, which means for the year I'm 59-32, and then Matt and Leon are 54-37, which by my calculations makes them way behind me.
Yes. Those five
Matt, games
are the ones that you go, I think I'm going to flip a coin on this one because it's so bad. Oh, it just happened to go my way. Look how much better I am.
Matt, do you know what, Matt? Nobody really gives a damn how the result gets done as long as it gets done. All right? You picked and you lost. Whatever scientific purposes I use to pick football games is between me and God.
That's all good, Mike. It was only Matt, 5 games, though.
5 games is a big lead. Hey, so, Matt, what was your big takeaway, surprise, or shocker of this week, or this past week?
Oh, wow. Well, big shocker. I have to say I was pretty surprised by last night. I thought the Giants just came out and played terrible. I thought it would be at least a pretty good game, and man, they just turned the ball over like crazy. I mean, the Giants have been taking care of the ball all year, but that was pretty surprising. But I'd probably have to go with Pittsburgh. I thought Pittsburgh played a pretty good game against Arizona. Arizona, they've been looking pretty dominant, putting up a lot of points. Their defense is very aggressive. Carson Palmer, when he's got protection, he's really good. And the Steelers were just able to just take care of business and handle things, and that's with Mike Vick for half the game, who just hasn't been looking right at all. I mean, I think they had -6 yards passing in the first half, but they still were able to pull it off, so that was pretty impressive.
Well, I'll still say this. Arizona hasn't beaten a team with a winning record this year yet, so I still think they're a little bit overrated. Leon?
My big surprise is how badly an undefeated team like the Denver Broncos looked against Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland is a putrid team offensively and defensively. And the Broncos, they struggled. Peyton Manning especially. 3 interceptions, only 1 touchdown. The defense pretty much saved them in the latter parts of the game, especially with the last minute to go. I mean, Peyton Manning throws a floater and he gets the ball intercepted. The defense had to come through and pretty much bail Peyton Manning out. And they might be the worst 6-0 team standing in the NFL right now. Just a little surprised at how, Peyton Manning right now is leading the league in interceptions with 10. And I don't want to say his arm is going rubbery, but some of those throws, they're questionable. It's a lot of the decision-making that he's making is not typical Peyton Manning. So, going into the season, they're 6-0 right now, but if they don't get it together, they're going to be one and done come playoff time.
All right, John?
I was very disappointed on how the Colts played the other night, actually. I thought they were trying to get their stuff together, and some bad play calls. I was pretty disappointed. So, yeah, that was pretty shocking to me. And then like Matt said, the Giants played horrible last night as well. I was disappointed in that game as well.
My big shocker of the week was Seattle losing at home to Carolina.
As soon as I finished mine, I realized I should have said Seattle.
Well, I'm glad you didn't, because my other pick was Pittsburgh, Arizona. So you can only have one of my two, or one of your two.
I'm talking about Seattle.
But I mean, the thing to me was Carolina is basically Greg Olsen from the U and Cam Newton. That's about all they are. They have a very good defense. So the question I think now with Seattle is Seattle. Are they imploding from the Super Bowl last year, maybe not trusting their coach? Or is it just the fact that, out of their 4 losses, 3 of them have been undefeated teams. They've all been close games. So is it kind of an aberration? They've lost to really good teams in close games? Or is something else wrong? And we will start off with John Aikman. You can give us a pick. First game of the week, Seattle at San Francisco.
I believe that it's a tough one to decide because they're both 2-4. I'm going to go with Seattle.
All righty, Leon?
I'm going to go with the Niners in this game. I'm going to pull the Niners card in this game. I think Seattle, for the most part, they're not the same offense that they used to be. I think they've got issues on the offensive line. They're not that punishing, brute offensive line they used to be. They're not feeding the beast mode like they should. And I don't think that Russell Wilson has been. They're just not the same offensively. I think that has a lot to do with why their defense has been struggling as of late, because they're on the field more. It seems like they got issues in the secondary, especially against Carolina. There was a breakdown in the coverage that left Greg Olsen wide open in the end zone in the last minute of the game. I think your man Kaepernick played well last week. It was against the lowly Ravens, but they did do well on both sides of the ball. And I think at home against their arch rival Seattle, I think right now Seattle is struggling. I think if there's an opportune time to beat them, I think it's now, because there are question marks on both sides of the ball in Seattle. And I think the 49ers at home get it done Thursday night.
All right, Matt.
Gosh, Leon, taking my Niners.
Yes, Matt. You heard it. I pulled your Niners.
I know. I'm gonna write this one down. Boy, I'm struggling with this one because I do think there is a real opportunity for the Niners to win this game. Reggie Bush and Vernon Davis are going to be back. I think they've got ample weapons to beat Seattle. It's going to be tough against their defense, but I don't think their offense is doing a lot, and I think the Niners' defense can get after Wilson. I think it'd be a much different story if this was in Seattle. But then again, Carolina, with just basically 2 offensive players, won the game. But I don't know. It's really hard for me to pick against Seattle, just because they seem to, just when you think they're down, they seem to pull out victories. I'm probably going to have to take Seattle in this game, but I do think there is a real chance for the Niners to win this game. I think they could pull out the upset. I'm just not sure. I'm confident enough to take them in the pick'em show.
You're teetering, Matt.
He picked Seattle. That's
all
right. You stayed out of yourself there, Leon. All right, now, my thing is this. Me and Matt talked about this earlier. I think San Francisco has a legitimate chance to win the game, but I think the legitimate chance lies in why Seattle is 2-4. Is it because of a lack of trust with Pete Carroll? The players are starting to fight, a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover, or have they just lost to some really good teams in close games? I'm going to go with Seattle just because I think that they have more weapons. Offensively, maybe some point they'll figure out Jimmy Graham's on the field, which would be huge for him. So I'm going to go with Seattle, but I think that it's going to be a lot closer than what I would have thought last week. Here we go. Leon, your Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, my God. The Jaguars are batting. They're batting every time zone. Where is this game, in London?
Yes, in London.
That's right. This is the London game.
Yeah, they're in London. Listen, the Jaguars have got all kind of they've got all kind of problems on both sides of the ball. Blake Bortles, he is coming along, but the kid, 19 starts, has got 6 pick six interceptions. Buffalo was, they came out the gates fast. It seems like they've mellowed out these last couple of games. It just haven't. Maybe they've had quarterback issues. The quarterback Taylor went down. Although E.J. Manuel didn't play bad in the game. I'm questioning the players, are questioning the coaching staff now. Sammy Watkins came out about getting the ball to him more. And then Mario Edwards, he goes in the media and he talks about, not being lined up in the best possible position to make plays defensively. So, there are question marks everywhere. But if there's a game where they can get it together, it's against Jacksonville. They're just not playing that well. So I think the Buffalo Bills win that game.
All right, Matt.
Jacksonville, who did they play this past week? Were they off
Houston.
Or did they?
No.
Well,
they mattered. They played Houston.
Yeah.
Okay, they played Houston. They were playing. I read that Tyrod Taylor has a good chance to play in this game. I don't know how true that is. I like the fact that LaShawn McCoy is back. I think that's going to help. I know Percy Harvin's going to miss, but Percy Harvin always misses. So you have Sammy Watkins out there. I think Buffalo is not quite what we all talked about at the beginning of the year. But like Leon said, Jacksonville's got some problems on both sides of the ball. They look like they're struggling a little bit. I think I'm also going to go with Buffalo in this game.
Yeah, Jacksonville's just not very good yet. I think they have some pieces that can turn into a good team in another year or two if they keep them all together and they keep the coach, which they probably won't. You know how the NFL is. I think Buffalo's big problem against the Bengals wasn't he? E.J. Manuel played all right in the first half. He got inaccurate in the second half, but I think that's just because the Bengals kept scoring, putting more and more pressure on him. I think the big problem with Buffalo right now is they got no pass rush on Dalton at all. That would worry me, but Jacksonville can't sack or can't rush the passer, so I'm going to go with Buffalo. John?
I was agreeing with Matt and Leon as well. One thing I will say, though, with what Matt said, I do see potential in Jacksonville. They just got to get the pieces together. I think they actually have a better team than they have had in the last couple of years, honestly. But with my pick, I'm going to go with Buffalo.
All right, Matt, this is actually one of the better games of the week, I think. Minnesota at Detroit.
Minnesota at Detroit. Well, Detroit almost got it's almost like the league decided, we've hosed Detroit so much with these. No, because nobody really even knows what a catch is anymore. But the Detroit's been on the losing end of that rule a number of times, and it looks like they just didn't have the heart to call it on the Golden Tate play in the end zone, so they gave it to them, even though it's probably the right call. But they won a tough game against Chicago. They're probably not as bad as their record, but on the other hand, I think Minnesota is just a hair better. We're still not really quite sure who Minnesota is, but they do seem to be able to win games. They've got a solid defense. They still have Adrian Peterson, and Bridgewater certainly hasn't been terrible. So I think at this point I'm going to go with Minnesota in a close game.
Yeah, I think this is a close one. I think Detroit is better than what the record indicates. They're at home. Stafford will probably play well. My problem with Minnesota is they seem to just want to hand the ball to Peterson and play defense. They don't really let Teddy Bridgewater throw the ball. Hopefully this week they do that. I'm going to go with Minnesota in a close one. What do you think, John?
I believe Minnesota as well. Like you were saying, handing the ball off to Peterson, they need to just let Teddy throw a little bit more, but I honestly think that Minnesota will come out on top.
All right, Leon?
I'm going with Detroit in this game at home. There was a Calvin Johnson sighting in this game. He had over 166 yards receiving the ball. Matthew Stafford, he didn't have a bad game. Defensively, they still give up they're not as good as they should be stopping the run, which is a recipe for a disaster going up against Adrian Peterson. But I'm really not sold on the Minnesota Vikings offense. Like you said, Mike, they're really not letting, Teddy Bridgewater, they're not letting them loose in the game. You did have a couple of turnovers in the game, and all they seem to be wanting to do, like you said, they just want to pound Adrian Peterson and play solid defense. I think if Detroit can, open up the playbook and, get some passes to Megatron, I think at home against their arch rival, I think that the Lions come away with a victory. So I'm going to go with Detroit in this game.
Yeah, and don't get too excited about the win. They did just beat Chicago. But next game, I guess, is mine to go first. Cleveland at St. Louis, which if Nick Foles can keep from throwing 4 interceptions, St. Louis should win the game. But I am impressed with Cleveland. I think Cleveland, I would say they're close, but it seems like this time of year, every year, everybody says, well, they're about a year away, and then they go in a tank at the end. I'm going to go with them going in the tank again, and I'm going to go with St. Louis. What do you think, John?
I'm going to go with the Browns on this one. I know that's kind of hard to believe, but I see potential in them. They've been playing well. I thought they've been playing well. They've been sticking it out with the last couple games that I've watched. They had the Travis Coons that kicked that game-winning field goal. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and then, and I think they have a chance. So I will say that the Browns will beat the Rams.
All right, Leon.
I'm picking the Rams in this game. Like you said, Mike, if Nick Foles doesn't throw the game away, I think they have a legitimate shot against the Browns. The Browns aren't that bad. They played pretty good against the Broncos. They showed some life in the game offensively and a little bit defensively. I just think the front four for the Rams is just too much for that offensive line of Cleveland. I just think that, if they can run the ball and that Foles doesn't throw the game away, I think the Rams win this game easily. So I'm going with the Rams in the victory.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, as a fan of a team who plays the Rams twice a year, I've watched the Rams a lot, and I'll tell you that when they're at home, they're a much better team, and they're going to be at home. I think Todd Gurley is looking like he could be a really, really good back, and he's going to be Todd Gurley should be able to control the game as well as the front seven of the Rams. Where Cleveland has had success is Gary Barnidge, the tight end, is very, very good. You talk about a guy who kind of came out of nowhere. And then Travis Benjamin, the wide receiver for the Browns, he's outstanding. He's good on returns. The Browns' only chance is if they can run the ball. I know Isaiah Crowell's been running the ball. I've heard that Robert Turbin might get into the mix. He's pretty good. And if they can run the ball in any way and just do anything to get time for the quarterback, if he gets any kind of time, they should be able to do some damage on that St. Louis secondary. But they're at home. They're just a better team. The Rams should win this game by a couple touchdowns, but given just a couple things go right, and the Browns might be able to make this a game, but I still see the Rams winning.
All righty, let's see here. That would bring us to who's next? Is that John? Houston at Miami.
Wow. I will probably honestly go with Houston on this one. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's just a tough pick. Yeah, I'll go with Houston on this one. Haven't been really following the Dolphins too much. How do they look this year?
They look awesome, John. I'm being
okay. I can catch your sarcasm.
Damn it! Don't you do your homework? You called me and wanted to be on the show.
Oh, come on now. Here we go. Now there's sarcasm again. So yeah, I'll go with Houston.
All righty, Leon.
I'm going with the Dolphins in this game. I think the Dolphins is getting new life with the intern coach Dan Campbell. I think they're playing a lot tougher. They're playing with a lot more intensity. I think they fixed some of the question marks they had offensively. Tannehill is not turning the ball over as much as he did early on in the season. I think that they've established a run game with Lamar Miller. I think the defense just went off last week. And they got after the quarterback. I think they had 5 sacks going into the game. And I just think the Dolphins are on a roll right now. I'm not really impressed with the Houston Texans offensively or defensively. Hoyer had a decent game, but, that was against Jacksonville. So, you can't put much merit into that. So I just think the Dolphins are getting on a little mini roll, a new breath of fresh air with Dan Campbell coming in as a coach. So I got the Dolphins winning this game at home.
All right, Matt.
Tough game. I think the Dolphins, all the reasons Leon just gave, I think there is definitely a chance that we'll see more of that this year, even this week. I think he's right. There does seem to be some new life with the new coach. All of a sudden, Lamar Miller made an appearance. We hadn't seen him all year, and the defense played better. That said, Houston has looked actually relatively good offensively. Arian Foster coming back early has been a big help. DeAndre Hopkins is one of the probably 3 or 4 best receivers in the game. He's just repeatedly having performance after performance, and Hoyer in there I think is just a better fit. So I do think it'll be a close game. I think I'll take Miami in a close game on this one, but wouldn't be surprised if Houston does come away with a win.
All right, I'm going to go with Miami. I think this will be a blowout. I think Miami is going to get a little bit on a roll just because they're happy that Joe Philbin's gone. Just kind of prove that he shouldn't have been there to begin with. Houston's offense has looked all right when they played the Colts and the Jaguars, which are 2 pretty bad defenses, I think. I'm going to go with Miami. Next game, Leon, Jets at New England, game of the week.
Game of the week. Now, this is going to be a good one. I'm going to pick the Jets in this game. I think New England, as well as they looked against the Colts, I still think they have problems. I think they're playing with a patchwork offensive line. I think going up against the Jets, they've got a pretty solid front 4, and they've got a pretty solid secondary with Reeves back there and Cromartie. I think they're going to match up well against the 3 and 4 wides in New England is going to play in the game. Tom Brady, he's having the MVP year, but the one thing about Tom Brady, if you can get him shuffling his feet while he's back passing, I think that's what they're going to do into the game. I think the Jets are going to put pressure on. I think they're going to eliminate the run, and they're going to put Tom Brady in a position where he's going to have to pass the ball. And I think their secondary is well enough where they match up well against their receivers. And I think the Jets are just going to pound the ball. I think Ivory's going to I think they're going to win it up front with the offensive line. The one thing I'm worried about is Kip Pratchett. If he just doesn't turn the ball over, if he just moves the ball up and down methodically, sticks to the game plan, I think they have a tremendous opportunity to go into Gillette Stadium and come away with a victory. So I think the Jets win this in a close one by a field goal late. So I'm picking the Jets.
All right, Matt.
I think everything Leon said is going to happen in the first half. I think, for all the reasons that he gave, it's very, very true. New England definitely has some holes, and I think the Jets are a potential good matchup for them, especially if they can really run the ball with Ivory. But in the second half, what I expect to see is more with Garrett Blount and Dion Lewis. I think the Patriots will make adjustments, find a way to get Gronk behind linebackers and safeties, and just really pound the ball with the running backs. And I do think late in the game, New England's going to find a way at home to get pressure on Fitzpatrick in a critical moment. I think they're going to come up with a big interception. They're going to win the close game. I think I'm going to go with the Patriots in the close game.
All right. Yeah, I think this is a close game. I think the Jets match up really well with them. I think the Jets might be a better all-around team. My problem is just Fitzpatrick. You got Marshall, Decker. Chris Ivory is a good running back. But in the end, I think the Jets playing New England in New York might have a chance to win. I think Gillette Stadium, I don't see the Jets scoring enough points to beat New England, but it wouldn't surprise me. I like New England in a close one. John?
I've been pretty impressed by the Jets' defense this year and the offense as well. I think this will be a pretty close game, as Leon said. I'm going to go with the Jets.
next game. Who's up first here, Matt?
Okay.
Matt, New Orleans, I can't even say that, at Indianapolis.
Oh, man. Yikes. And really, boy, it's a tough game. Not really impressed with either team, especially after did anybody hear what Pagano's reasoning was for running that ridiculous play Sunday night? Yeah, I mean, all I read today was that he won't talk about it anymore. So I'm like, he already talked about it.
No, because if he doesn't go on a big winning streak, it's going to get his ass fired by the end of the year. No
doubt. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. But I just think there's something wrong with the Colts. Clearly they have offensive line trouble. Clearly they have defensive trouble. But Saints, I still don't think they've got. I think they've got a lot of problems on defense too. But I think I'm gonna take. Did you say this is in Indianapolis or in New Orleans?
Indianapolis.
I'm still gonna take the Saints in a close game. I think they'll just be able to run the ball. I think Drew Brees is still pretty good. They've got receivers. It's just going to be an ugly game. This is not the game that I would want to watch, but I'll take the Saints in a close game.
All right. Well, you watch 49er games every week, Matt. I'm going to take the Colts just because both teams suck, so I'll go with the home team. John?
I think that the Saints have came out in the last couple of weeks, and they have a fire underneath them. I know that both teams are not doing that well this season, but I think after what happened to the Colts, I think they're going to go downhill a little bit, and I see the Saints winning this game.
All right, Leon?
Well, I can't pick the Colts after that flag football formation last week.
Exactly.
I just can't go with the Colts. They've got offensive line issues on Andrew Luck. He's still turning the ball over. He's not protecting the ball well. They did try to get Frank Gore going a little bit against the Patriots, but the Patriots are just too much for him. I think the Saints have found their mojo a little bit. They look really impressive against Atlanta. They got after them. Drew Brees seems to be making his passes down the field. I was impressed by the way they beat Atlanta last Thursday night. So I think they're going to Indianapolis, and I think they win the game easily, to be quite honest with you. So I'm picking the Saints to win this game.
Yeah, they've had more rests, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, next game would be John, Pittsburgh at Kansas City.
I am going to go with Pittsburgh. I've been pretty impressed, honestly, considering after Big Ben went down and then Michael Vick came in, and now they went to their third-string guy. I've been saying it all year. I think they're going to be pretty well off this year, so I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Yeah, they look like they're going to be one of those two wild cards. Leon?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Steelers in this game. I mean, they just got to feed the bell cow, which is Le'Veon Bell. They got to run the ball. Landry Jones did come in. He was effective. I mean, it was nothing star-studded, but he was effective. They came away with the victory after Michael Vick went down with the hamstring. I just think it's going to be tough to play in Arrowhead with that defense. They do get up to the quarterback, so the offensive line for Pittsburgh has got to protect Landry Jones. He's got to protect the football. You've got to feed Le'Veon Bell. The defense has been playing pretty good. I don't think the Kansas City offense poses really any kind of threat to them offensively. With Alex Smith, really not a big Alex Smith fan. He moves the ball methodically down the field, but losing Jamal Charles is going to definitely hurt him, so they're going to be pretty much one-dimensional, which could be in Pittsburgh's favor. Secondary has been coming on a little bit. They have a tendency to get torched every once in a while. But I think the Steelers, it's going to be tough. I've played in Arrowhead. It's always a tough environment to play there. So I just think the Steelers win late. And then their field goal kicker, 4 field goals. So we've solved that problem. Scobie's gone. Scooby-Doo, whatever his name is. He's gone. And I think the Steelers win the game late. So I'm picking the Steelers to win.
All right, Matt?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh as well. What I really liked about when Landry Jones came in, watch when Michael Vick's been out there, and he just, so there's times he'll make a decent throw, but most of the time you can see the timing's off, and he's having trouble getting the ball to his receivers. Then they have to give the ball to Le'Veon Bell, but everybody knows it's coming, and so it's a little bit. He still gets a good game most of the time, but it's easier to contain when you can bring 8-9 guys up. It was Landry Jones when he came in there. What I liked about it is he started pushing the ball downfield. They immediately started getting Antonio Brown back involved, and then a really good throw to get Martavis Bryant out in the open, and then he just made a great play. I was impressed with the throws he was able to make. I think that continues, but I don't think they'll have to do a lot of it. If he can just make a few throws early, and then they can just feed Le'Veon Bell, because if there's a threat of a pass, then it's just going to open up the run game with him and D'Angelo Williams. So, and I do think, like Leon said, that the defense is coming on a little bit. The secondary was able to pick off Carson Palmer, which hasn't been done much this year. I definitely like Pittsburgh's chances. I'm going to go Pittsburgh by 7 to 10 points.
All right, I'm going to go with Kansas City, and it's not just because I don't like Pittsburgh, because actually I think Pittsburgh is probably the best team that's not undefeated right now, but Landry Jones is not going to win this game, I don't think. I think Landry Jones has a average arm. I didn't like him at Oklahoma. Technically, I don't think he's that great. He's going to be playing in Kansas City instead of at home, and the big thing here is, how many times have you seen a guy come in and look awesome when the other team's not prepared for his style of play? Landry Jones is more of a pocket passer. Michael Vick is, you got to worry about the run. You don't have to worry about that as much with Landry Jones. So plus you got Pittsburgh coming off a couple big wins. They're going to Kansas City. They're due for a letdown, the old NFL trap game. I don't think Landry Jones gets this done in Kansas City. I think that somehow Kansas City's defense shuts them down, and Kansas City wins the game something like 14-10. I was waiting for a comment from Leon there.
No, I'm going to let that ride. I'm just taking a mental note of that. That's all.
Yeah, take a mental note. I mean, record it down. I wrote it down.
It's all good. We'll see.
That's all right. Y'all still be way behind us. I'll be like a game and a half back still. And then we'll whoop your butt in Pittsburgh, and you'll be 2.5 back. Let's see. So, hey, real quick, I just remembered we got to take a message from one of our sponsors. So check out this commercial from Gridiron Mow, and we will be back in about 30 to 60 seconds.
This is former All-Pro Leon Searcy. I've got a new interactive app called Gridiron Mow, where you get to call the plays, offense or defense, and a live NFL game. You get to interact with other fans, pick the play, pick the call. That's Gridiron Mow.
Welcome back to the Tuesday night NFL Pick'em show with myself, Mike Goodpaster, Leon Searcy, Matt Andrews-Scavage, and John Aikman, our guest picker tonight. So, John, you want to start us off, give us a pick on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Washington Redskins? All right, Leon?
I'm going to go with the Redskins at home. Gruden seems to be married to Cousins. He's averaging pretty much 2 interceptions a game. RG3 just seems to be I see him on the sidelines not dressed. So, he's married to Cousins, and the mistakes that he's made over the past couple of weeks. I just think the Redskins play a lot better at home, and I just don't think that Tampa Bay is good enough on either side of the ball to pose any kind of real threat to the Redskins, especially at home. I think Cousins, feels a little bit more comfortable at home. He has more of his more successful games have been at home. Doesn't turn the ball over as much, and I just like the Redskins this game. Tampa Bay, Winston is, he's coming along, but I just don't think they're there yet. So I'm going to take the Redskins at home in this game.
All right, Matt?
It's an ugly game. These are two teams that are just not very good at all. I think I'm going to go with Tampa Bay, though. Not because I think they're, way better or anything like that, but they just seem to have a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball. I think Doug Martin is a pretty good running back. They're coming off a bye week. It's time to unleash Mike Evans a little bit. And I think the Washington secondary is really ailing. D'Angelo Hall hasn't been playing. Chris Culler's been out. I mean, they're missing like 3 guys at corner. So they're really, really thin in the secondary. And, you know, I don't see Washington being great in any way. Not to say Tampa Bay is, but I think Tampa Bay's just got a little bit more. I think they can get this done. I'll take Tampa Bay like 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. Mike Evans, Vincent Jackson, very good runner, decent running game. Winston makes a lot of mistakes, but still, I'm not impressed by Washington. It surprised me they've won this many games for the entire year already. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. John?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay as well. I'm not really impressed with Washington, so I'm going to go with Tampa Bay.
All right. Atlanta at Tennessee, Leon.
I'm going to take Atlanta in this game. I mean, they had a little setback Thursday night against the Saints. They were pretty much exposed. For some reason, the Saints defense showed up in that game. And I just think Atlanta has just too many weapons. Matt Ryan, you know, Devontae Freeman, Julio Jones, Roddy White. I mean, I just think they have too many weapons. Tennessee Titans, they're just not a very good football team. And then Marcus Mariota, you know, he's got the knee injury, doesn't know how effective he's going to be in the game. I just think that Atlanta is lights out offensively. Defensively, not really that impressed with them defensively, but they don't have anything to worry about this week because I don't think the Titans are that good offensively, especially with limping Mariota in the backfield. So I'm gonna go Atlanta by at least 2 touchdowns in this game.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, Atlanta should be able to just completely win this with no trouble. Mariota's out for 3 weeks with this MCL sprain or something like that. And, last I read, he's out. He's going to miss at least 3 games. I don't see any way he plays in this game. And if they don't have Mariota, what are they going to do? They don't have a lot at the running back position. The defense is okay. Just the rest of the team is just kind of okay. But Atlanta looks really good. They play very inspired ball on the defensive side of the ball. And is it Devonta or Devontae? I always get it mixed up.
Devontae.
Okay, I thought it was spelled Devonta, but maybe it's Devontae.
Okay, Devonta. I don't know.
He's really good. He just does not look like. I know he's a second year back. I mean, he just really looks like he's coming into his own, and
I'm pretty
the
sure
offensive line is blocking for him. Yeah, I mean, he's the thing. But Julio Jones and Hankerson has stepped up. Jacob Tammy's playing well. The offensive line's playing well. They got into a rough game with New Orleans. But that's a division game that happens. So I see Atlanta just wiping the Titans out pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm going with Atlanta. John?
I'm probably going to go with Atlanta. I would love to see Tennessee turn it around. I mean, they got a great coaching staff. I just don't understand what's been going on. And then after Mariota went down, it's just been rough for Coach Wisenhunt, and I hate it. I hate it for that whole staff as well. But I'd say Atlanta will definitely win this game.
All right, Matt, Oakland at San Diego.
Oakland, San Diego, that's actually a pretty good game. I wouldn't have thought so. San Diego, I'm going to take San Diego in this game. I think they played Green Bay very well last week. I don't know, maybe it's just a play call at the very last play. I think they had a really good chance to win that game. Defensively, they played really good. Very inspired ball. You would think that they would just be able to go in and just kind of wipe out the Raiders, but the Raiders are coming off a bye week. I think they're kind of like what we talked about at the beginning of the year. You could see them winning 6 or 7 games, maybe even more, competing for the playoff spot. They don't look like a bad team. I think this will actually be a pretty good game, but San Diego has dropped a couple of heartbreakers, and I think they're going to come out and win this game.
Yeah, you look at San Diego, they've played well the whole season. I mean, they lose the close game at Lambeau that they easily could have tied and sent to overtime. The week before that, they lose in the last second to Pittsburgh a little earlier in the season. They played the Bengals and lost 24-19. I'm going to go with San Diego. I think they got a little bit more firepower, and I'm going to go with Phillip Rivers or Derek Carr at this stage in their career. John?
I'm going to go with San Diego as well. Even though Oakland is coming off a bye week, like you said, those close games. I mean, Phillip Rivers, they've been close. I mean, they could have won several games, and they've been doing well. So I'm going to go with San Diego.
All right, Leon?
I'm going to go to Oakland. I mean, Phillip Rivers, he had a good game, outstanding game against Green Bay. I mean, threw for over 500 yards, attempted 62 passes in the game, and had an opportunity to actually tie Green Bay late and came up short. I like the Raiders. I think the Raiders. I think they're not the Raiders of old. I think they're well coached. I think Jack Del Rio is doing an outstanding job on both sides of the ball. I like David Carr. I like his weapons. I like them defensively. I think the San Diego Chargers got issues up front with their offensive line. They've got some key components, guys who are hurt, nicked up, or whatever. Hopefully they can get those guys back. But I just think defensively they're going to get after Phillip Rivers. I think the Raiders are going to go in there and pull up the upfield. So I think the Raiders are going to win the game.
All right, you're going to be way behind me after this weekend, Leon. You disagreed with me like 5 times.
This is my catch-up time. This is where I come back.
Or this is where you end up 10 games out. All right, Dallas at the Giants. Both teams suck. The entire division sucks. I'm going to go with the Giants because I think they might suck a little bit less. What do you think, John?
I think that Dallas will end up coming out and winning this game against the Giants. I haven't been impressed with the Giants, but Odell Beckham did come out and play the other night, and I was kind of surprised because I thought he was injured. I didn't think he was actually going to be playing in the game, but I see Dallas is going to win this game.
All right, Leon?
I'm going to go with the Giants in this game. I mean, both teams are really bad right now. I think the Giants just had an off game against the Eagles. Eli's not playing that bad. They seem to rectify their offensive line issues. It didn't look that way Monday night, but I just think with the Cowboys coming in town, I just think the Giants suck a little less than the Cowboys. So I think they're at home with their arch rival coming in. I think the Giants get a W. So I'm gonna go with the Giants.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I like the Giants in this game too. I just don't like Dallas right now with their quarterback situation. Their running back situation has been very, very shaky. You know, missing Dez Bryant has definitely hurt the offense. The offensive line is very, very good, still very, very good. The defense is decent. It's good. I mean, having Sean Lee back will help. I think the Giants will win a close game. I think they got more offensively, and they did have some guys out, especially last week against the Niners. They were missing guys. I think they got a few of those guys back this past week. I think they should be a little bit more healthy than they were a couple weeks ago. So I think they're going to be okay. I think they'll rebound from that loss and win a close game.
All right. Let's see. Philadelphia at Carolina. That would be John.
I'm going with Carolina. I've been saying it before week 1. I think Carolina will be a team that will win their division this year. A lot of people are shocked that I've been saying that, but they've got a good ball team. As long as they can stay healthy, I think that they're definitely going to win their division. I could see them, honestly, I know this is shocking to say, but I could see them being a Super Bowl team this year. But they will beat Philadelphia.
Yeah, I can see them being the team that loses to Cincinnati in the Super Bowl, too. Leon, what do you think?
I'm going to pick Carolina, only because they're at home. I think they play pretty good defensively. Cam Newton's legs and Greg Olsen seems to be the only offense that they have right now. They're pretty much the only weapons they have offensively. I think they play pretty rock solid defensively. Just really haven't been really impressed with the Eagles going into the season. I thought this was going to be the year the Eagles kind of let loose and, tally up the scoreboard with all the offense and the different formations and all the stuff. You know, the board genius, Chip Kelly, I thought he was going to have this offense running, but it's still not, even against the Giants. I mean, they still look putrid, even against the Giants' defense. I just think Cam Newton is going to, I think he's going to come away with the victory. I'm just not really impressed with the Eagles, so I'm going to go with the Panthers in this game.
Matt?
I'm not a Carolina believer in any way. However, they did impress me winning in Seattle. That is no easy feat, especially given their circumstances with the limited playmakers that are on the Carolina offense. For them to be able to come out and put up 27 points in Seattle, you know, I realize that Seattle could be reeling, but that was impressive. I think that's going to really energize them. This reminds me a lot of the 2013 ball club. They won a lot of close games. That you know they didn't play a lot of great teams, but they were just able to string victory after victory together. They just look like that kind of a team again. I don't know what they'll do in the playoffs, but for right now, I think they're just playing better than what Philadelphia is. I don't think Philadelphia did anything special last night. I think this was more about what the Giants didn't do. It was just an off game for them. I don't think Philadelphia is very good at all. And I think Carolina at home will win this game.
I guess it's my turn for Philadelphia, Carolina.
Yep.
Believe so.
All right. I just flipped my coin, and I'm going with Carolina.
All right.
Because I think Philadelphia is going to be in this game. And I also think Carolina coming off a win this big. All they got is Greg Olsen, but then again, Philadelphia I don't think is very good defensively. I don't know. I struggle with this one, but I'm going to go with Carolina. Leon, Baltimore at Arizona.
This is going to be an easy pick. The Ravens they're just awful. They're not playing good football. They're not playing inspired football. I just think the Cardinals at home, they get it done. I think they bounce back after they lost to Pittsburgh, and I just have them winning this game easily against the Ravens. The Ravens are just on a good team this year, sitting at 1-5. So I like the Cardinals to win this game easy.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, the Cardinals should be able to just blow the Ravens out. Joe Flacco is back to Joe Flacco decisions. Even when he's got protection, he does not make great decisions right now. They do have some. They're limited with their weapons. I think Justin Forsett. They need him to run an awful lot. You can slow him down, like the Niners were able to do on Sunday. You can get after Flacco, and he will make mistakes. Defensively, they're not the same team in any way. Arizona at home is a very good team, and they should be able to drop 35 on them easy. So I think they win by a couple touchdowns.
All right. Once again, I don't think Arizona is very good at home either. I think they just play bad.
I do too. I do. I think
they got their butt whipped by the Rams.
It's a division game, and it was a 2-point game.
Yeah, but if you're
a division game.
Yeah, but if you watch that game, it was like 24-15 with like 5 minutes left. To get a cheap one at the end, couldn't get the onside kick back. I don't think Arizona's that good. They still have beaten nobody. But
overall,
that being
that's
said,
true.
Baltimore hadn't beaten anybody at all. So I'm going to go with Arizona. John.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Arizona as well. I'm not really impressed by Baltimore that much this year. As Matt said, they're not defensively the way they used to be whatsoever. So I'm going with Arizona.
All righty. So, John, where do you play this week? Or you got a game this week? Or
we have a game Friday at home against the Brooklyn Bolts.
Is that on ESPN3?
I am not sure if it is or not, honestly. I know last week's game was. We played last Saturday in Brooklyn. It was on ESPN3.
You want to tell everybody what the Fall Experimental Football League is?
It is the second year for this league. The FXFL is basically guys that have came out in the last year out of camps or out of OTAs in the NFL and there's no other avenue for guys to get back into the NFL. I mean, they could go to Canada, or they can play arena, or they can sit at home. And it's a four game. There's 3 teams now. There was 4 teams lined up, and 1 folded before the season. But last year we had 4 teams. We played 4 games last year. It went great. There was 30-40% of the guys returned to the NFL. One of my friends, actually, that I played with last year, he's still in Pittsburgh. He's on the practice squad. There's quite a few guys that I played with, actually. They're back in the NFL. And this league is it's a good ordeal for guys that are coming out there trying to get back into the NFL.
All right. Now, I got a question to throw out. We'll start with Leon. Arnhead Hayward's son. What's your take on that in the NFL fining him every week for honoring his dad?
I mean, I have a problem with it. I mean, the NFL is so strict when it comes to, they always do their due diligence when it comes to fine, and they're stickler on the rules and the rule books. But I mean, there comes a time where there needs to be some kind of compromise, especially when it deals with players who, have lost their parents to cancer of some sort. And I didn't really see a problem with, him honoring his father, with the eye patch and everything like that. I mean, there should be some kind of compromise when it comes to players honoring, their parents or the people that their loved ones that have met their demise in some sort. They should be able to honor them in some fashion or form. And I just think that, there's a time and place to do things, and I just think that wasn't the time and place to find him in that particular moment. So that's my take on it.
Well, Matt, what's your take on it?
Oh, this is insanity. First of all, without just right off the top, Ironhead Hayward, I mean, just the fact that, first of all, he's a former NFL player. What would be wrong with honoring a former NFL player? We put numbers and patches all over uniforms and stuff when a player passes. Why can't we honor a former player? But this is his son, for crying out loud, during a month where we are trying to raise awareness for a type of cancer. Are you kidding me? You're going to fine him for writing Ironhead in his eye black? And second of all, I have a real problem with this because there's a player on I believe it's either the Chiefs or the Browns that came out and said, look, I wrote something on mine all last year, and I didn't receive any fines whatsoever. This is absolutely insane for the league to come out and act like this, especially given all the bad publicity that they get. I can't believe they're stupid enough to do this and just get more and more backlash. This is so backwards and over the top.
And I think in the end, Devin Still last year had Leah Strong on it. The NFL
That's what
ran
I'm talking about.
It was a
That's the one.
Story. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
And nobody said a word. And the thing is this: it comes back. If you remember, this all started with Jim McMahon. Back 1984, 85, where he was putting different stuff on there. He put Rozelle on there because he was mad at Pete Rozelle. I think what the rule should be is this: you can honor or put anybody's name on there as long as it's not a corporation or as long as it's not something derogatory towards somebody.
Exactly.
I think that's a lot more simple way to do this. I mean, who cares if somebody writes somebody's name that they're dedicating a game to on their eye black? If they start looking like a NASCAR and you're advertising stuff, that's a little bit different because we know the NFL has to get all that money. They don't care about the players there anyways. So just make it so there's nothing derogatory said, or you're not a billboard making money off of it. What do you think, John?
I am going to go with no comment on this, honestly. I don't want to say anything to step on anyone's toes, but, yeah, I'm just not going to comment on that. I'm sorry.
John, would you like to announce tonight that you're running for the Republican nomination for president?
No. I just don't want
you said no comment. If you were a politician, you'd have danced around it. But I understand, and I respect that. So,
I appreciate it.
You got any final words, John?
No, sir. I appreciate you all having me on tonight, though. This has been fun.
Yeah, and just remember, the one time we played against each other, my team was beating your team 60-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was. It was an indoor game, and our kicker didn't show up, and guess who had to kick? This guy right here. So, yeah. Michael tell you about it off the air one day. It was
a funny game. We played a team called the Cincinnati Bulldogs, I'll tell you now. They were supposed to show up and kick our butts. It was a preseason game when I was in Owensboro. We had actually paid players that were professionals, and they brought down, I think the owner ended up playing either that game or the second time we played them. And the owner was like 50 years old, and we beat the hell out of him. But he ended up lining up against a kid that started at Michigan State for a year or two and got his jock handed to him. But it was all good fun. And as long as my team won, it didn't really matter. But it was great having you on tonight, John. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, nice having you on. Hey, by the way, one of the coaches for the Brooklyn Bulls is a good friend of mine, Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones is a friend of John's.
Oh,
yeah, he's actually coaching here at the Hudson Valley Fort. He was on the Brooklyn Bolts last year with me. I played for Brooklyn last year, and now I'm here in Hudson Valley, and Coach Jones is here with me this year.
Oh, okay.
You got to tell Marvin to come on the show with us next Tuesday night.
I have to. Yeah, I thought he was with the Bulls. I knew he was with them last year, so I thought he was still with them. I was hoping that you can, pull out a can of whoop ass on him for your game, so I could have something to razz him with. So, but I didn't know he was with me. So.
Yeah, he's great.
We'll scratch that then. I thought he was on the other team.
Well, I'll let him know you said hi. So.
Yeah, let him know I said hi.
All right, Leon, any final words, final thoughts?
It's not really a lot of good games this week, to be quite honest with you. I'm looking forward to seeing the Patriots and the Jets game. I think that's going to be a pretty good game. Oakland and Chargers might be a decent one, but most of the schedule looks kind of, average, to be quite honest with you. It's always good to watch football, but I'm always looking for those good matchups. I'm looking forward to seeing the Jets and the Patriots. We're going to see if the Jets are for real going into Gillette Stadium. So I'm looking forward to that game for the most part.
Well, and when the best team in football has got a bye week, the Cincinnati Bengals, it just makes everything a little boring.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Matt, you got any final words?
We're just letting you have your fun, Mike, because we all know how this is going to end. So
it doesn't matter because, my fun will last for 16 weeks. The agony will just be a week, and I'm used to it.
Nah, I got to agree with Leon. It's not a lot of great games. I'm looking forward to a couple of them. But overall, good time. Always good to talk to you guys.
Will, and if you want to follow Leon on Twitter.
That's at Leon Searcy 72.
And if you want to follow Matt Andrew Scabbage.
At MTA Scabbage.
If you want to follow me, it's at RiverMonster11 on Twitter. You can go to the Grueling Truth Facebook page. Follow us on there. Make sure you check us out on the Grueling Truth Radio Network on Spreaker. Make sure you follow us when you hit it on there. And make sure you check out Gridiron Mo. Great new app where you can predict the plays offensively or defensively in any live NFL game. Hopefully we get Aris Presidius, the owner or the founder of the app, to come on soon. He was supposed to give me a call here tomorrow so we can set that up so we can tell everybody a little bit more about the app. But for John Eggman, Leon Searcy, Matt Andrew Scabbage, this is Mike Goodpasser. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.